What's up, YouTube? Hey, everyone. Did a short live stream earlier, but had to delete it because there was a lot going on. It wasn't the quality that I like to put out, so I got rid of it. But I decided to put up another live stream today. Let's change the angle here. This light back here is a little bright. Huh? This one? Is that giving a problem? Which one is it? This one? This one over here? Yeah. We'll figure it out later. But, sorry about the jiggle. This tripod does that. Shave the beard. I don't know how y'all feel about that. I'm back. Hey, Matt. Turbofish, what's up? MPR Shrimps. Yeah, so, look much better, really, you think? My wife convinced me to shave. I like the long beard, but my wife wanted it gone. What up, Kevin? How you doing? But yeah, I thought we'd talk some shrimp. I just threw some food into all the tanks to attract some shrimpies, so we might be able to get some on camera, with the exception of the Sulawesi tanks, just because this tank right here, basically this one, I don't know how big it is. I'm guessing maybe 30 to 40 gallons. But there's only about 14 shrimp in there, 14 adult shrimp, and maybe 4 or 5 babies in there. So, hey, Curvin's Justy. I'm not even. Hopefully, I said that right. I know I didn't. But the Sulwesis, they had babies. Yeah, I was saying that earlier in the earlier live stream. One of the they're blue-yellow Cardinals, is what they were listed as, I guess. But one of them apparently had a female because she was carrying some babies, and that's awesome. She had her babies, and they're throughout here. Let me grab the camera. Maybe I can spot some babies for you guys. But as you can see, my Sulawesi are just kind of. There's one there. They're chilling out, hanging out in the rocks. There. They like to hide in the little cracks and crevices, but you can see the little guys, the little ones like littler cracks and crevices, so a lot of times you can see the babies, like for example, there's a little baby in there. I think you could see his antenna swinging around in there, but you probably can't see him. But right in this crevices, there's babies. They're hard to see. There's one back in there. But there are quite a few babies in here. We got one blue baby confirmed for sure. But since I'm pretty sure the blue bred with one of the reds, I'm not sure how the mixture on how that's going to perform and how that's going to come out. But I know there's at least one blue baby in here, which makes me happy. Oh, that might be him right there. Oh, where are you? It's hard to, right there. I think that's the blue baby. Which is crazy that I was able to find that on camera. Let me zoom, but the chat's in the way. Yep, that's the baby blue. And you could tell because the blue, pretty much all of the front legs are white. It seems like the blue ones have a lot more white legs. The red ones have, looks like only 4 of their legs are white. Whereas in the blue ones, it looks like I think 8 of them, it seems, to me, are white. But that's one of the baby blues on that rock there. Crazy that I was actually able to find them. And I believe under there, you can just barely make out the legs. That's one of the blue ones. We got some more babies popping out. There's a baby. Bunch of babies under here. That actually looks like another baby blue one. So that makes me happy, because those are high dollar shrimp. So that makes me happy. These are the new guys that I got today from the fish place. Some orange Rili. There were more up here eating. Hey beta lover, how are you? The parameters, okay, let's take I'll come back and do Q&A in a little bit. Your guppy had babies. That's amazing. What do I feed my shrimp? All right, I guess we will do some Q&A real quick. Let me put this back on the tripod so I don't have to hold my phone during Q&A. You guys are gonna have to stare at my ugly mug apparently. Okay. So, first question first. What are my water parameters? And that is a very good question because they are changing. I'm gonna vape. I hope you guys don't mind because I'm quitting smoking my cigars. So vaping, it is. Where was I? Lost my train of thought. Sorry. Oh, water parameters. Okay, so I'll be right back. Give me a second. Watch my cool guppies. Those are Red Dragon. They've been moved quite a few times, but that is now their home. I'm pretty sure this is going to be their home for a while now. Alright, but I went and got some stuff for you guys. So, we'll start with the DOs, because that's the long story. Neocaridina. I've been using RO water and salty shrimp mineral GHKH plus. It's been working great. I've been using this for my guppies, my tiger shrimp, and my Neocaridina, and it has been working great. However, it's basically a little bit. I've been finding that what I do with this is I'm taking it's basically my tap water with a little less GH and a little less KH is what I'm missing, because I'm in Buffalo, New York, right by Lake Erie. My tap water's hard, so my tap water comes out to 8 or 9 GH and like 3 to 5 KH with like a TDS of 150 to 200 out of the tap. So, I mean, that's pretty good for Neos and pretty good for basically non-Caridina. The Tigers, I'm still going to continue to use this for the Tiger. So my Royal Blue Tigers. And actually, some of my Royal Blue Tigers I've actually been considering moving to Taiwan B parameters. So basically, all the water changes I'm going to do with my guppies and my Neocaridina from this point forward are going to be with prime, aerated water for overnight with prime in my room, so it's the same temperature as the tanks, and then I'm going to add it slowly through an airline the way I always do water changes. I'll take out 5 gallons and then I put a bucket at the top of my stairs, and then I connect an airline, this guy. So I have this really long airline that I can move to any tank in my room. The other end's at the top of my stairs, and I have a bucket up there that I put the bucket in the water, and then I start it and start a siphon, and it drains down. Eventually I'm going to use my drip overflow system, all that stuff. I just haven't had time to hook up every tank yet because I've been working on getting the top off system in first, and it's been slow going. I've been busy with family and work. It's basically the story. But Neocaridina and guppies are going to go back over to my tap water because I feel like the tap water is perfect for them and it's fine, and I'm just wasting my time remineralizing and wasting money and effort. So that's the story there. As far as my Caridina go, I use salty shrimp GH plus, no KH, and then I use what's the soil? Brightwell soil for my tanks, and my tanks are a little different. I use soil towers in them that I make myself rather than having the substrate as the soil. I'll get into that in a minute. And then for my Sulawesi, I also use salty shrimp. Oh, not that one. This one. Salty shrimp Sulawesi mineral. So, yep. RO, that's how I remineralize. And like I said, I'm going back to tap water for a lot of my my stuff, because I figure a lot of the people who eventually, if I do start selling, when I bring them to my local pet store, everyone's using tap water, not RO water, remineralized. So my Neos and my Guppies, I might as well already have them acclimated to the normal water, especially for my local fish store who does buy majority of stuff off of me. So anyway, we can continue the tour. What do you guys want to see? We'll start at the beginning, I guess. So I guess I'll scroll and see what the comments have been about lately. Oh, you still there, YouTube? I hope so. Choo-choo. Sorry about this. I'm scrolling through the comments. Where do I get my shrimp? I get my shrimp from all over the place. I try to get my shrimp from Facebook groups, from home breeders, just hobbyists. I like getting my shrimp. Yeah, I don't want to throw out any names right now. I mean, I guess I kind of like getting my shrimp. Like Eric Lucas is a great name to get your shrimp. He's a great breeder. Rob from Flip Products. He's been importing, but he does have his home bred. There's a lot of people out there. I don't want to throw out any names, but pretty much you go on Facebook, join a Facebook group about shrimping, and you'll find a lot of hobbyists that are getting rid of their shrimp. Yep, my tap water is pretty good. I'm happy about that. So here, I'll go through and show you some shrimp. We'll start at the beginning. We'll start with my pure redline tank, which has been doing amazing. Let me flip the camera here. Whoops. Did that flip? It did flip. Okay. Let's go. We're going to take a little walk here. A little walk because we're going to go out of the fish room and around. So, pure redline tank. Hey guys, Corvus is live, just so you know. That's what that little notification was. So, if half of you leave right now, I know why. But the pure redline tank is doing... Actually, wow, I got 3 more up and then 2 left. But this is the pure redline tank. I got these from Tommy Lamb over at Shrimp Fever. There's the pellet I dropped in for him. And these guys are loving life. They're doing so good. There's so many babies. As you can see, there's babies all over the soil. Everywhere you look, they're in the subwasser tank. Even with the bladderwort wrapped into the subwasser tank. Look at that. There's babies on the bladderwort. So, I don't know. In my experience, I don't think I've hit bladderwort. I don't want to say it doesn't kill shrimp, because it might, but this shrimp has more, or this tank has more babies than any of my other shrimp tanks I've seen at once. And they're just, they live in the, like, here's bladder. There's another little tiny baby. Where are you? Where are you? Focus. See, there's a little tiny baby right there, literally just walking in the bladderwort. And it's supposedly a shrimp killer. But there's babies everywhere in this tank. If YouTube focuses, which it doesn't. But these are my soil towers that I were talking about. So rather than, this is normal black sand. This is Brightwell soil that's just a little brown, but it's more for aesthetics that I put it down here. But there's the majority of the soil is held in those 3 mesh towers that I made myself. And it makes it very easy to change out the soil. When it's time to change out the soil, I just grab the tower, pull it out, put a new one in, refill it with soil, rather than having to tear the whole tank apart. But as you can see, there's a lot of little babies. Lots of tons of little babies in this tank. My pure redline tank is doing great. Probably in about a month or so, I'm going to put some posts in the Facebook groups, probably selling 10-15 of those guys. They were doing so great, I also started pulled out a lot more of the baby mamas into this tank. The white and red ones, these are red crystal shrimp, but they're a certain type of red crystal shrimp called pure redline shrimp, which means they're not mixed with the black crystal shrimp at all. They're pure reds. So so they're not mixed at all. Straight red. And so I pulled out 10 to 15 of those guys, and as you can see, this guy over here stole the food, or this little girly. These guys are not hard to keep. It depends on your definition of hard. That is subjective. I find them pretty easy, as long as you just got to get your hold on the soil. So apparently there's some babies in this tank as well that I didn't realize. So one of these mamas had their babies, which is great. I didn't even realize there were babies in this tank. That makes me a little bit happy. But here are my Cardinals. I saw one of you was asking about my Cardinals. Have a question about your air pump. Wow. I can't believe DA's Aquarium's here. Hi. Just so you know, you were one of my inspirations. I love your videos. They were great, especially your videos on the Taiwan bees and how to care for them. If you haven't seen DET Aquarium's videos on those, he makes great videos, and his tanks are absolutely gorgeous. But he said, I have a question about your air pump system. Do you have your air pump lower than your aquariums? I do have my air pump lower than my aquariums. I will show you my system right now. So, basically, my air system starts. I'm going to have to pull some stuff out. Let me move some stuff. And bear with me for a minute, because I got to kind of get back into my storage area, which I got to... Alright, I'm going to show you where I'm squeezing. So right now, in order to get back here and turn that light on, I have to squeeze both of my arms, my head and shoulders through this pipe and this board. I'm going to rip this out very soon so I can get back here. But I could also crawl the long way around, which I'm not going to do, because it's too hard. But I can't reach the light. Sorry. But there's my air pump. It's an Alita 60, and it's coming out into, I think, Alita 60. I'm not sure, but it pumps a crap load of air. That's all I know, and it's amazing. I used to have those two pumps. One's a Coral Life that pumped a ton, and then other's a no-name brand diaphragm pump. But the white one is a Coral Life linear piston pump. If anyone's interested in that, hit me up on Facebook. That actually powered this whole room and still had enough power. But I decided to go with the Alita because it was quieter. But that hooks directly into this PVC line here. If you can see this PVC line. And that goes up here. Now I'm going to pull my head out, so bear with me. Okay. Pulled my head out. And that PVC line goes through here, up. And now we're up at the ceiling. So my air pump is definitely lower than my tanks, but it hooks up into my air loop PVC manifold system that's all up here. Nope, nothing has check valves. I've heard of backflow. I've heard that term. I'm not even sure what it means, to be honest with you. All I know is I've never had an issue with water. Basically, the way it works is my PVC comes up here. I have an initial first loop here that does a complete loop back. So there's my first loop, and then it cuts off and tees off here. So that loop comes to here, and it also tees off right there and comes and feeds this rack. I've never had any backflow issues. All I do when I add a new tank is I just drill a hole here. So I would just drill a hole, stick the airline in there, put a valve, one of these cheap valves on here. I usually wrap these in piping tape. Those ones aren't wrapped because those are the newest ones and I was being lazy. But I normally wrap them in this pipe tape to prevent air from leaking. And then that the air doesn't leak out. But no, when I turn my air pump off, it's not. I don't have any vacuum problems or issues, and I think it's because the PVC is way up here at the top, so it would have to go all the way up to the top before it went back down to the pump back there, if you know what I mean. Let me show you something. But DH, I hope I answered the question for you. Yeah, suction. No, I don't have any suction powers. Yeah, no, I've never had any problem with if the power goes out, if the water runs. I don't have any check valves or anything. No. Yep, nothing. And it's great. And I think it's because the highest, as long as the highest point in your system is higher than your tanks, you're good to go. And since the PVC is higher than any of my tanks, I'm good to go. It's kind of like the reverse of a drip loop you'd put on like an electrical cord, how you'd want it that loop to be lower than the electrical circuit. It's kind of the opposite of that, as long as this is higher. Don't quote me, I'm getting that wrong. I could be totally wrong, but I've never had problems with backflow with either one of that diaphragm pump, that Coral Life pump, linear air pump, or now this Aledia linear air pump. So, or actually, I think that one's actually a diaphragm, but I'm not sure. Yeah, and you see how much yeah, there's a lot of PVC. So, yeah, I don't think I have a siphon issue on my air at all, or it's never been an issue. I was going to show you, so the new addition is my Sulawesi tank. I have a float valve on here. So the float valve on my tank, it's not on right now because I don't fully trust float valves. This whole rack has float valves. And that's my top off system. So if I flip this switch right here, you can see it'll turn on my RO pressure valve. You'll see it drop and go back up. But, sorry for burping there. But it's probably filling up upstairs right now in my container, but this will start dripping and filling up in here too. But eventually, this just has an auto top off system, but since I work, there it goes. So you can see it's filling and it'll stop when that pipe goes. But since this is my office and I work here all day long, I really don't, there's no reason for me to leave this on when I'm not here, since I'm here 8 hours a day at least anyway. And that'll top off all my tanks. So basically when I come down here in the morning, I flip that switch and I wait until that pressure gauge turns off, and then I know all of my tanks are topped off. And then, yeah, oh, come on. Now Sashimi Whiskey just went live. What's Jimmy doing to me? But yeah, so basically I'll flip that switch in the morning, watch the pressure gauge till it turns off, and I could actually hear it if I don't have any music playing or anything. And then I'll come over here and flip it off, and that's just keeps my water topped off every day. But as you can see, all I did is cut a little piece of greenhouse material plastic here, just a real little bit, and then I have the float valve drilled into there, and then just it teed off, and it goes over to my water RO system. And same thing here, all these guys are just teed off together and go over to the RO system. And this seems like it would be expensive, but I definitely went the cheap way. Ordered all these parts from China and was fully expecting tons of leaks because I went cheap on all the parts. And honestly, the only leaks I've had were air leaks, not water leaks, which is where that yellow tape comes into play, where I taped up the water or the air. But yeah, have a good night, DET. Good luck with your air, man. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. So I guess we'll do a tank by tank video here now. So here are my pure red lines. We started with the pure red lines. I got tons of babies everywhere. These guys I'm gonna put maybe 10 to 15 of these guys up for sale. Probably in a month or so when these babies. I'm not going to sell any of my mamas yet, any of these adults. None of the adults are going to be for sale. But when these babies are big enough to sell, I'll probably get rid of 10 to 15 of them. Because as you can see, I like to start more and more tanks. I have 2 open tanks over here with low pH for Caridina ready to go. But when we get over there, we'll get over there. But here's my pure red lines. They're doing great. I have some really nice ones. Some I gotta grade them. So I guess maybe before, that's why I'm really only gonna sell the babies, because once I have enough, I'm gonna start a couple tanks of the pure red line with different grades. This tank is not graded. I just grabbed. I saw at maybe a week ago there were so many babies in here. I was getting nervous because there were so many babies in here and so many buried mamas still, that I'm like, there's going to be too many babies, too many shrimp hitting this tank all at once. So I pulled a lot of the buried mamas out that were still buried and brought them into this tank with a couple males. So there's a new one there. The Sulawesi's are up here. There's 3 or 4 buried cardinals in this tank. There's a lot of algae on this tank. Sorry guys, I don't clean this one, obviously, because they love the algae in this tank. I wish I could pull out and see some of the babies right now, or see some of the mamas. The newer batch isn't as shy, honestly, I think, because they sit next to me all day long and look at my face. These are some white ghost bees I got from Jeff Lidbert that originally came from Eric Lucas's colony. But yeah, I got lots of bladderwort in this tank that I got to take care of and rip out too. There was a buried female in here, and she's not, I haven't seen her in a while. So I don't know if her babies are in here and I just can't see them, because obviously these guys are hard enough to see as adults, let alone see them as little tiny babies on this white sand, like that one back there. I didn't even see. But can you imagine looking for babies in here? So those are really awesome shrimp. I'm super happy with them guys. In here I call my bruiser tank. Here I have blue bolts, extreme blue bolts, and shadow pandas and shadow king kongs. Blue bolt Misuras. There's a couple babies in here. Couple baby blue bolts, couple baby shadow pandas. And the baby shadow pandas are actually a really, really nice blue, because they came from this extreme blue bolt up here. Actually, I think this one's swimming right here. If she comes down, you'll see she's got a really nice blue color to her. And I think she was the mama for these guys. But they're really nice blue color shadow pandas. And of course, they're not going to come out for me right now. I'm sorry. They're not coming out. There's a baby blue bolt on the back wall, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the baby shadow pandas. And there's 2 generations of baby shadow pandas in here too. There's ones that are about 2 weeks old, and then ones that are just a couple of days old. But of course they don't want to come out right now. Here are my pintos. I don't have any males in this tank. I recently found that out. So there's 2 black zebra pintos, 2 red zebra pintos, black spot pinto, and no male pintos. They're all females. My yellow king kong tank, there's a bunch of buried females in here still, waiting for them to just throw them. They're hiding in the shrimp tunnel back there, but they're just waiting. Hold on, sorry. Every couple tanks I'm going to have to go back and read the questions. Yep, I also have a shrimp crush on Data. Yep, me too. Have you ever had any backflow problems? No. Alright, I scrolled back way too far. All my PRL haven't buried up in wintertime. Asked a few people from around here and they are saying the same thing. I guess the cold weather turns them off. Absolutely, the cold weather turns them off. I had 0 activity from them for a while, and then I realized I had my shrimp room set to 70, thinking my water would be 70, but that wasn't the case. Oh, I can't get this to show. But it basically says this is 75 degrees, 76 degrees in here right now. But the water, as you can see in my tanks, is still a little below 70, even though the air temperature is 76 degrees. So I had it in the air temperature set at 70. These are all 10 gallons, 20 gallon or above. But I had the temperature set at 70 thinking the water would reach 70, but that wasn't the case. And I slowly upped it until the water over here, which is kind of far from the heater, and these tanks are about 70. But yeah, they go, okay, so here's a nice blue that's out. So this was the mama that was the parent of the shadow pandas that are in here that have a really nice blue color that I can't wait till they grow up. See what they look like. But these are all 10 gallons. This tank is empty in preparation. They have the soil towers back there, so these are going to be low pH tank. These are a new arrival as well, not as new as the orange Rilis, but fairly new. These are blue bees, Caridina. They are kind of rare. They used to be fairly common, but now they were super hard to find. And when I saw them on eBay, I put an immediate bid on them. And I have 12 of them in here. They're all very, very small, with the exception of one of them. But there's 12 of them in here. Blue bee Caridina shrimp. What up, Amphibian Fish Channel? How are you? But oh man, I love these blue bees. And I can't wait until they breed and there's more and more and more of them. But they are loving this wood. So I put 2 pieces of wood in here because they seem to just hang out inside this wood all day. Just hang out on it. But the blue bees are these are one of my favorites that I've been wanting since I got into shrimp and really couldn't find them around. And everywhere that did have them were sold out. So in here I had my blue Moscows, my blue Moscow guppy. Well, I gotta zoom back out, sorry. So my blue Moscow guppies. I wish there was a way I could zoom out easy like my normal phone cam. There we go. But my blue Moscow guppies were not doing so hot. So they are up. I'm down to only 3 of them. I think they got some type of worm. You could see they look very thin and they're not swimming so good. At one point I was importing a lot of guppies. Well, not importing, but having them imported for me through a transshipper. And I was sharing the net between the tanks. And at some point I think these guppies caught some type of worm or something. But I'm down to 3, unfortunately, so they got moved up into there. So now the ram's horns and low-grade pumpkin shrimp have the reign of this tank, at least for the time being, until I clean it out and get something else going in there. This tank is my plant trimming / wood tanning soaking tank for the moment. Nothing in there other than lots of excess plants that I didn't want to throw away that I probably am just going to end up throwing away anyway, and wood soaking. The 75 gallon, been changed a couple times, finally staying as the Red Dragon grow out tank. Most of the males upstairs, there's only 1 or 2 males in this tank. The 2 that I thought were the prettiest that I selected to be the parents for the next generations to come. And also this is a Skittles mix tank, Skrittles tank. There's a blue guy in there, blue shrimpy, and then there's a bunch of Rilis and all different colors of the rainbow shrimp in this tank. But as you can see, we got some babies, some fry, so that's awesome. Oh, did I miss? I skipped, because these aren't shrimp, I skipped them. I skipped the purple grass tank. The purple grass grow out. There's tons of this, tons of these. I have a male guppy 55 gallon tank upstairs that I keep all of the males in except for the ones I use down here. So all these tanks are pretty much only have 1 or 2 males in them, and then all the rest are females or growing out. So this tank, there's only one mama female, and all the other ones are babies, and then there's a male in here somewhere too, but I can't find them at the moment. They're hiding. Oh man, look at that gorgeous no entry, that white. Look at that. Gorgeous. I need to separate out. I need to start grading those PRLs. Okay, so where were we? We're gonna go over here. Here, another tag that nothing's in here except a lonesome platinum tiger female guppy awaiting a pair when guppy train when it gets warm enough to send. This tank is cycling, awaiting when guppy trade sends. He owes me a trio of super red RREA guppies, real red albino genes. So that's what that tank's waiting on. Here we have my black rose culls, or black, I wouldn't really call them culls, but black rose that aren't black, so I guess they're culls, but they're blue. So these are the blues, black rose babies that were blue that I took out. So black rose culls, but the blue versions. So blue roses. I'm gonna call them blue roses. So these are my blue roses. And here are my brown roses. So my black rose tend to throw browns or blues or wilds. My browns going here, my blues going here, my wilds going here. Alright, so over to here we have my red Rili. So these are the nicer red Rilis that I pulled out. So these guys are breeding like crazy, and I have so many of them. I literally just sold 200 of them, and I have another tank over here that we'll get to that I just sold the 200 out of. These are the nicer ones that I pulled out of that tank, trying to start a nicer Rili colony. Over here, I just got these today, orange Rili. Got them at the local pet shop. Went there to sell some plants, saw these, how beautiful the pattern was on these guys, and there was only, I bought 7 of them. They were super busy, so I don't know, I felt bad taking up the time and asking them to like look and pick out each one, so the lady just grabbed 7 of them for me and put them on the table and started bagging them up. And then I checked them out, and only one of them didn't have a perfect pattern, and I didn't want to be super picky about it, so I let it go. But that one that didn't have the perfect pattern ended up in this tank, which there's no way I'm going to find it so there's a $4 shrimp or $5 shrimp that went directly right into this Skrittles tank, which is kind of a little bit of a waste of money in my opinion, because I don't sell the Skrittles. They're just there to look cool. And I really wish I would have had another perfect Rili, because there was a whole tank full of them. So if they weren't so busy, I would have opened my mouth, but I don't know. I didn't, but my regrets. This is my Royal Blue Tigers. I had a crash about a month or 2 ago on this tank, and I'm left with about 6 of them. But they seem to be doing fairly well since they're in this tank. This is a project tank. I have Bloody Marys and high-grade cherries. So we'll see what happens there with the Bloody Marys and the high-grade cherries. Mixed together, and we'll get red tissue and red shells and have some really, really nice intense reds going on. So there's a project. Here's a tiger project. So we have Galaxy Tigers, Royal Blue Tigers, Orange Eye Blue Tigers, Black Tigers, and I believe to be a Caridina Thai bee mix that I got at the local shop that they were just selling as a tiger, unknown tiger. But there's a lot of white and blue mixed into some of them. Here's one if it'll turn. She's pretty white as far as tigers go. There's one of the babies. So that's one of the babies from the white ones that I got at the pet store that they just called random tigers, but I think they're tigers. But they're in this tank. They're in Neocaridina parameters, and they are breeding, as you can see. So we'll see what happens. They got 3 different kinds of tigers in this tank. Over here we have my Bloody Marys. They're chomping down on that. Whoa, how did I zoom in so far? The Bloody Marys are chomping down back there, blending in, having a good time. Here's my black diamond, blue diamond, sapphire shrimp. These guys are gorgeous. They are getting so black, they almost look like black rose, but I guess that's why they call them black diamonds and blue diamonds, huh? Gorgeous, gorgeous. These guys don't breed super fast for me, but I don't really get many calls from them. They're all very dark and beautiful, beautiful shrimp. Moving on, we have the pumpkin shrimp. Pumpkin shrimp. Lots of algae in this tank. I just sold about 100 of these guys. But yeah, the tank's still pretty full. I'm going to clear out some of these plants. Too many plants. My cherries. Black diamonds. And I just did a recent culling, as you can see, with the blues up there and the browns down here. And these are what I was left with that are actually black. There's probably about 7 of them in here that are actually black. Black rose. If I said black diamond, I meant black rose. These are black rose. And then here was the Rili tank that I just grabbed the best out of, tried to start another tank, and sold about 200 of them, and there's still this many left. Still a ton of them everywhere in this tank. So I had a ton of red Rilis. Unfortunately, the quality on them wasn't amazingly fantastic. And then here are orange eye red ghosts. I got these from Andrew Wayne when they were little tiny little babies. And then one of them is this import that survived. I got a couple from Tommy Chang, but unfortunately none of them made it except for one of them. This big one right here, I'm assuming, is the one that survived, because the one that survived is the oldest one, and all these other ones are smaller. But they're doing well as well. And there's, again, my soil towers. And I think that's it. Oh, no, we didn't do... Okay, so up here, we have my full black guppies. These guys were imported through a transshipper in Florida, through AFTG Guppy in Thailand. So I bought these guys on Aquabid, and then paid to have them imported through a transshipper, so it was legal and legit. But these guys are full black. Unfortunately, the parents made it. You can tell they were sick when they got here. They weren't doing well from the shipping. But they survived for long enough where I couldn't really claim anything against AFTG. But the parents died, but 3 of the fry survived. And if you watch some of my previous videos, I didn't think any of them were male. But then it ended up being 2 of them turned out to be males, and only 1 female, who is now gravid. So I can't wait till these full blacks get going. Nothing in this tank right now except a bunch of Christmas moss. Trying to get a higher grade pumpkin tank going. Pulled out some of my better looking pumpkins and threw them in this tank. In this tank, we already showed you my blue Moscows that I don't think are doing so hot. And that brings us full circle. You just saw everything in my fish room, except for, well, everything in my fish room. You haven't seen my male guppy tank upstairs, and you're not going to because my family is watching TV up there right now. So I guess we could go back to Q&A time now that we had the tour. I'll see what the comments are all about. Give me a minute to sit back down here. Sorry about the whole camera, whatever is going on. And give me a minute to scroll through the comments. Your shrimp would never touch the cholla wood. That's crazy. My shrimp love that. How expensive is all of that? I love them over there, but they get so damn busy. How expensive is all of that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean by all of that. Me. How expensive is all of what? And while we're waiting for other questions, you guys should go check out a new channel of mine called Cardistry Practice, where I learn how to practice cardistry tricks, and I will be your peer as well, not as your teacher. I will be your peer because I'm not good at it yet, and I just make my progress week by week as I learn. But stuff like the spraying, which is normally a lot cooler looking than that, but it's hard to get on this camera angle right now. But to run, it's not expensive at all to run the fish room. All I have is that one pump, the Alita air pump. If you joined late and you missed that segment of me going over my air system, my whole room is powered by one air pump. As far as heat goes, I built these walls. So I built those two doors were $60 each at Home Depot, and then the studs and wood and drywall to put these walls up and studs. I mean, it was more expensive to build everything than it was to run it for sure, because I have this oil heater here that's hooked up to that turns. So that was $30 I bought on Amazon, and that's a thermostat or a temperature controller that basically I set to whatever temperature I want. I have it set to 36 or 76 degrees. When it's colder than 76, it turns on the power. When it's warmer than 76, it turns off the power. So I just have this oil heater plugged into that, set it as high as it would go, high, so it basically heats up real fast. And basically as soon as that we drop below 76, the power kicks on, and this heats up the whole room. And then I have a little fan down here. I plan on getting a couple more of these for better circulation. But I have a fan on the floor right here that's blowing up behind all the tanks, that blows up to the top. So it blows the cold air from the bottom up to the top. And then, so basically all my tanks are heated by that, with the exception of the Sulawesi tanks. They have ink birds. These monitor the temperature in the tank. So each Sulawesi tank has its own Inkbird temperature controller. And then there's two heaters. So this heater is just in here cranked up to high. So the thermostat on this heater doesn't do anything. So basically if this heater has power, it's on, because it's turned up as high as it would go. And the same with the one in that corner over there. And they are plugged into here, and then the Inkbird measures the temperature of the tank within 1/10 of a degree, and whenever the tank drops within 1 degree of the tank, it will turn on. So these temperature controllers are great. Yeah, practice with the cards. I started another channel called Cardistry Practice, where if you're into cards or you're into magic, it's a little bit of both, but it's more of just cardistry in different kinds of cuts. One-handed cut. Missed that. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. One-handed cuts. But it's a lot more rotation cut, one-handed. But it's a lot of just cool stuff. Some magic trick, but not really, because I'm not good enough for magic yet. But just like little stuff. Little stuff if you're into cardistry. Advertising my other channel. It's called Cardistry Practice. But if no one else has any other questions, though, I think I'm going to take off. Hit me up on Facebook if you want any Christmas moss, some wassertang, purple grass guppies, red grass guppy, or pure redline shrimp, low quality pumpkin shrimp, and low quality Rili shrimp. You saw them all in the video. Full disclosure what they look like. Hit me up. If you order enough of them, I'll drop the price down to, like, especially the low quality ones, I could drop the price pretty low. Hit me up. I think that's it for tonight. Don't have a Facebook. How about Instagram? I don't use the Instagram. If you don't have a Facebook, leave a message in the comments with your email, and I'll get a hold of you. Or you could email romaquatics@gmail.com. Alright, I think that's all the question, guys. When's the next stream? It's been real hard to get time. I felt like I owed you this, guys. I owed this stream to you because the last couple streams have been, hey, I got to do this real quick, blah, blah, blah. So I actually had an extra hour or two here that I thought I could do a quick stream. The next stream, I'm hoping to do one next week. So I don't want to make any promises, but we'll try to do next Sunday. At least next Sunday. If not before. But love you guys. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate you showing up. Later.